Hey guys, Majeffrey's here and welcome back to the Majeffrey Space Center. Now, what you're looking at here is a brand new craft that I've just built. I did it off camera because I basically took Testcraft 5 and I said in the last episode that I was going to put more fuel tanks on it, and indeed I have. So you remember here, these used to be solid fuel rockets. They're now liquid fuel rockets, very nearly the same size as the original booster in the middle. That hasn't changed at all, but these have got 2 tanks each and the same engine, and they all fire at the same time. You'll also see that this is quite a tall rocket, and the reason being is because I've added another couple of stages. So, these engines all fire. These engines then jettison via this decoupler here, and all these parachutes deploy. At that same moment, this engine here, which is just inside this little compartment here, this one fires up. It carries on as normal, and then it gets to a point where that one runs out of fuel and it's jettisoned, the parachutes deploy, and a third engine, which is contained in this section here, fires up. And then once that one's run out, again, deploy, parachutes, decoupler, and then we coast back down to the ground. I'm going to save this quickly, and I'm going to launch, and I wasn't experimenting, I was having a look at the crew, and I noticed a familiar face popping up. Hopefully he's here, and hopefully this craft doesn't topple over and blow up. Look guys, Jebediah's back! We found him! He didn't die in the explosion at all. He just got lost in the smoke. It's taken him this long to find his way back to us, but here he is. So, without further ado, I'm going to lock this in place. I'm going to fire up the thrusters. And in 3, 2, 1, Jebediah launches! It's a bit sluggish, this rocket, because as you can tell, it is a lot heavier than the previous ones. A lot heavier, there's a lot more fuel. However, I can now throw this up to maximum thrust and look at the fuel go. It's burning nicely. We are going to end up in a position where these 4 tanks are going to run out before this 5th one here, but it's not too far behind, as you can see. So we'll have a little bit of drop in how quickly we're climbing, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. See our apoapsis is climbing quite nicely. The velocity is increasing as well, which is always a positive. I think we're going to drop this part of the ship before we start steering. So from there downwards, just so it's a little bit lighter and a little bit easier to do, although as you can see, it seems to be leaning all by itself at the moment. That's not supposed to be happening. What's going on? We need to try and pull that back. That's not going well at all. Abort. Ah! Okay. We're spinning out of control. Let's drop the thrust. In fact, no. Let's start. Let's not be stupid. We're not going to kill Jebediah again. We're going to go back to the launch pad, and we're going to do this properly. I think the problem was this tank here, the mystery goo. So, actually, I'm going to go back to the vehicle assembly building, and we're going to get rid of it. We're going to make sure everything on this craft is symmetrical and balanced, so that can go. We didn't get that much science from it anyway, so it's hardly worth it even being there in the first place, in all honesty. It's much easier just to use the science bay underneath the crew module. You notice this also stands a lot better on the launch pad now, because these 4 engines all touch the ground, and the 5th one is actually raised off the ground slightly. So it's almost sitting on a pedestal. Right, thrusters to there, locked in place, Jebediah smiling, and in 3, 2, 1, launch. We're off the ground, so we'll go up to maximum thrust. This shouldn't lean now. If it does start to lean, then we're in trouble, because I don't know what's causing it. We haven't got RCS thrusters yet, so it can't be that. We haven't got cross-feed fuel lines either, so it's nothing to do with that. I'm pretty sure it was that tank, because the tank was on the side in which it was leaning. So I think extra little bit of weight was pulling it over. Looks like we've got no risk of an overheat right now, which is perfect. Means we can keep going straight up. I think I'm going to start turning sort of maybe around there, if not slightly lower. We'll keep an eye on the yellow circle and see what that does. If that starts to move, then we'll start to follow it. That sounds like a good plan. This should give us enough fuel to make it into orbit. If it doesn't, I would very much like to know why. Because I have thrown an extra couple of fuel tanks in. and another engine. So that should be enough really to get us into an orbit. Right, the 4 fuel tanks there have run out. So we're running on that single tank now. We're just going to wait for that one to run out. We're going to have a quick nosy at the apoapsis. That's rising quite nicely. Circle, yellow circle hasn't started to move just yet, although we are approaching the point in which I've been advised to start leaning. So, should we start leaning now? Yeah, I think we could. So we'll take off that. We'll start leaning. Oh. Next stage. There we go. Wasn't working for a second. We'll start leaning. Lock. We'll do it to about there. We're continuing at maximum thrust. We've got a nice apoapsis now, and it's still increasing, which is fantastic. The circle is leaning, so we'll lean and follow it to there. And lock. In fact, we'll unlock for a second and just lift this up a little bit. Pull that back in. Lock. There we go. Much better. Oh, circle's moving again. Okay, that's no problem. We'll just lean a little bit more. And we'll lock about there. So in case it moves a little bit more, we're keeping up with it. I think that's actually more of the craft is yo-yoing a little bit as well, backwards and forwards. We're doing fantastically well for fuel, as you can see. Unlock that, move it over a little bit more. It's about there. There we go. There's the little rebound effect. But our apoapsis is dropping. Why is our apoapsis dropping? We'll lean this back just a little bit to there. Lock. Need to stop that from dropping. Come on, come on, come on. Start going up again. That is actually showing no signs of going back up at all. I think we've done this wrong again, guys. Point it straight again. Lock. I don't think this engine's powerful enough. I think that's one of the problems. For the amount of weight that this craft is, I don't think this engine's anywhere near powerful enough. Might have to go back and change the engine. But we'll have to do that in another episode, because at this rate we're just going to keep running out of time. In fact, no, I will do it now. I will do it now. I will do it now. Revert flight to vehicle assembly. One day guys, I'll get this right. We won't die, we won't kill Jebediah. In the meantime, blur. Right, we'll pull that down. No, we won't pull that down. Pull that down. We'll get rid of that engine. We'll bring in the big Bertha. Just move this down a little bit more. Slap that engine in, and then we'll pull that back in like that. And then obviously we've got to lift all this bit up because of that. So about there, should we say? Yeah, they look like they're off the ground. Oh, actually no, they need to go up higher. To there. I guess it wouldn't blow up if it fell that far, but just in case. Move it down that tiny little bit. We'll see how it goes. We'll try not to kill Jebediah. Right. Those engines fire. Yep. Those 4 and that one in the middle. Check. And then that one should fire, and it does. Good. Right. Brilliant. Jebediah, your redemption continues. Again, let's not kill you. Dibby-doo. Just gotta wait for this to load. There we go. There you go. Fell onto the launch pad quite nicely. Put thrusts up to 2/3. And in 3, 2, 1, launch. Straight from launch, maximum thrust. No time for dilly-dallying. We're on a space exploratory mission. Right, the 4 fuel tanks around the sides are burning nicely. I was going to try and put in... Actually, I suppose I could still. I'll have to get rid of these radial ones, and then I'll equalise the fuel for all of these tanks, and then they'll all drop off at the same time. But again, we'll leave that to another episode, and I think we'll put that under a different craft as well. Yeah, this is going quite nicely. Going up in the air. Going up, 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 up. And up, 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 up. And continuing to go up. We've lost the circle a little bit. We're leaning. We're still leaning. Why are we leaning? No, 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 no. Revert to launch. That's not supposed to happen. Something's not right. Gotta fix this. Can't have us falling over and killing Jebediah, the poor bastard. I think he's suffered enough. 3, 2, 1, launch. I probably should stop doing countdowns to launch, just in case I don't sync the audio properly and I'm sort of launching on 3 or 2 or like 5 seconds after I've said 1. It's just a waiting game now. Oh, maximum thrust. I love the way you see the jet trail, if I can call it that, changing colour. See if I thrust down again. Sort of, it looks a bit more measured. It looks like a bit like a Bunsen burner, and then you fire it up, and it looks like a raging inferno. That looks good. I like that. Right, let's try not to fall out of the sky this time, eh, Jeb? Where's our app? 8,000 and rising. See, look, we're leaning again. Why are we leaning? We're falling over. Are we top heavy? Is that what the problem is? I'm just gonna play this one out and see where it goes. Right, that's the opposite direction to what we want. Right, I'm gonna jettison that, and now I'm gonna try and recover this. Except this recovery isn't going too well. Yeah, I think we've gone a bit top heavy. Might have to abandon some of our plans at this rate. Let's see how high we can get with this anyway. So if I point it back straight up, like there, and lock. Let's see how high we can actually get with this. We're running out of fuel quite rapidly. So whilst we're there, we might as well observe the materials bay. There we go, there's the fuel run out. We'll transmit that. We'll pull this back down to 0. Got 3.5 science for that. We'll do a crew report as well. Fire that out across the board. We're flying over Kerbin shores. Ah, that's a problem. We're going to land in the sea again. Christ's sake. Jettison, and those parachutes will open. That should sail back down to the ground quite nicely. I'm pretty sure the other rocket has as well, if it has any sense. Might as well deploy this chute. I'm hoping it deployed. Yep, there it is. So there's the rest of the debris above us. We should be falling theoretically at the same speed, but that might not necessarily be the case. And we're just breaking back through the 5,000 in a minute. Where is it? 7,000, 6,500, 6,000, 5,500. We're going to land in the middle of the ocean. Jebediah's going to get his feet wet. Although he's happy, look. He's happy to still be alive. There should be one of these like air crash investigations as to how Jebediah survived that huge explosion that would have killed anybody else, and yet he's walked away from it. I think that's why he's been missing since episode 2, because he's just... I mean, where was it he crashed? It was in the mountains, wasn't it? He's just been walking from there back to base in order to take part in the next mission. So for him, you know, he's just been happily walking along back to base. For us, we've been waiting months for him to come back. I'll do one more transmission. If it lets me, I might do one from the ocean, actually. Just to see what's going on there. Have that little bit fold away. Right. So yeah, Jebediah's trotted back to base, and he's hopped in a spacecraft, and the first thing that's happened is it hasn't worked. So, we're either going to have to beef up the engines more, put more engines on the side, or we're just going to have to cut our losses and take off an engine again. I just didn't think it would be this difficult trying to get into an orbit, in all honesty. I thought it would be nice and simple, but I guess it's not that way. Oh well. Breaking through 100 meters. Coming down through 75. There. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Kaploosh. We're down. I can't actually access the material bay right now, but I'm going to do a crew report. I'm going to transmit that. Looks like we can still do that. Yep, transmit. Oh, not enough electrical charge. Okay. In that case, we're going to go back to the space center. Our batteries really don't like the ocean. They're bobbing up and down like nobody's business. Tracking station. There it is. And it should all be in one module. Yep, there it is. Cover. How much science did we get for that? No science. Oh, I think it's because it's already sent it back. We got 72 science now. Was it 60 we needed, or was it 90 for the next part? I'm going to check now, because there's a chance that we might be able to get the next part. 90. Bugger. Okay, we're going to have to do one more mission then. I might actually do that mission off camera. So, yeah, time for the end of video spiel, I guess, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to do so. If you have subscribed to my channel, thank you for your continued support. And until next time, guys, I will see you soon.